Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and today we're going to be looking at more Bruva Alphabusa's Intro into World of Darkness. This is going to be part 3 editions. Now, I can kind of understand what's going on with the previous couple sections here. We're getting into the overall vibe and theme. What you need to do here, basically be a very heavy Roleplayer fan. Also, some kind of cool little shotguns are everywhere aspect, but some of the gaming philosophy, all the crazy little nitty-gritty things like how you play, what you're playing. Now we're getting into the third part, editions. I got nothing. I don't know anything about the various editions. I know there's Chronicles of Darkness and the Old World of Darkness, and that they are not always compatible unless people decide to squint really hard and then ignore the fact that they're not compatible. That's it. So we're going to go into this about as blind as you usually expect at this point if you're watching any videos here previously. Yeah. So let's do that. You guys know the deal. There's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. And when you're done, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy the video. And let's get started.
Part 3 editions.
Okay, have you played Bloodlines? Yes? Great. Did you
Did
not?
we get to that?
That's fine too. I mean, it's a great game worth your time, but not all necessary, just useful. It's a great way to
Think about Bloodlines. A lot of people in the previous video were like, this is great. And like, here's the place where you need to find this various updates. There's multiple updates. Some of which are considered canon, other which also are considered canon, but the two will never shall meet. And honestly, I kind of need to do it because I did find it on Steam, so I might be doing that. It sounded fun. And if I'm making a mistake, tell me now because I don't want to bite if it's actually a bad idea, but it doesn't sound like it is.
step into the world, especially if you have problems getting a stable group together for a tabletop game. But supposing you're ready for that step anyway.
Stable.
You got a table, wanting to try out World of Darkness. You know how to play a tabletop role-playing game, or otherwise excited to learn. Where, amidst all these crazy logbooks, do you start?
Whoa, Book of the Worm? Oh yeah, that's the I think it's a dragon, technically, because it's the YRM. That's the werewolf enemy. I can't read that. Constantinople, and oh, these are the various enemy books, aren't they? Or campaign settings?
That's a complicated question. Let me lead you to the answer.
Oh?
First, you'll need to pick which game line. Each game provides different...
Whoa, okay. So I saw Vampire and Hunter, and honestly, those look amazing as intros. And frankly, I think Hunter has the coolest looking start. Werewolf, I'll be honest, I would not have known that was a game book. I thought it was just some kind of crazy art. If I saw that Mage, the Ascension, same. Oh, that's Wraith, the Oblivion, and Changeling. Huh, honestly, other than these two, I wouldn't have actually recognized them as game books.
Provides different creatures you to take.
Oh, Demon the
roles of,
Fallen,
different
Mummy?
themes and toolboxes to play around with.
Kindred? Wait, why was Kindred replaced with Mafia? Oh, Kindred of the East, yeah, and then I've heard there's a lot of issues where they kind of don't acknowledge that. They put Mafia in
Play
instead.
around with. For instance, love everything I've talked about with combat. Werewolf is, and always will be, the most combat-focused WoD game. Start your search there.
Oh.
Want intrigue? Every game line does intrigue, but few do it as well as Vampire.
I do like combat.
Or fuck off, disregard all of that. You think elves are cool? Play Changeling.
What the hell is that thing? You know, I regret backing up. And they yellowed the teeth and they showed them. Okay, yeah, elves in World of Darkness are no. That's
Play
a no.
Changeling. Cast a mighty spell and play Mage if you fucking dare. Play whatever.
Wait, what did I just pause on? Let's go back a second. This is the deep end. Mage is the deep end. Yeah, I've heard some things about Mage, and people have brought up spell descriptions, and yeah.
Dare. Play whatever. All the shit I talked about in the themes is optional. You can make any kind of game you want with these systems.
Oh.
I'm just covering what the default is. Slight.
Combat heavy Mage?
Here are the issues you're going to run into, though. For one, WoD has been around since the 1990s, and it can be easy to get overwhelmed by choice. Which book should I play?
Okay, one. Kudos on finding the absolute coolest picture of a library ever. Also, glass floors. There's a library in Pittsburgh that has a glass floor. It's effing terrifying, and there's actually places that do it. They kind of look like this, just without the center section. Considering there's people down there, this is a real library. I thought this was just AI generated at first. I want to be here and see this, and I also am terrified. If anyone knows where this is, let me know so I can... You know what, I'm not gonna... I don't know if I want to go there or avoid it at all costs. Let me know so I can decide later, please. Wow.
Play, which edition is the right one, etc. That's number one. Here's number two. Despite the wide bevy of WoD games,
Yeah?
they're not all updated to the latest edition.
Oh.
Fifth. In fact, at time of writing, only 2 are.
And that explains why these two had the coolest covers, Hunter and Vampire. Vampire because it's the main thing, and Hunter because I guess people just like being the not, I was going to say normal good guys, but honestly, no, I don't think anyone's really good. There's just more and bad. Yeah, that would explain why these have the coolest covers.
Usually there's not too much of an issue.
I'm sorry, did he just...
In fact, at time of writing,
He
only
did,
two
didn't he?
are.
Okay, they didn't... I don't think there's much of a reaction here. Oh, just a little distortion on the mouth. But this one, like, the full-on frown because they poked the nose. I'm just sorry. It's just such a small little edit, but that's a really funny one.
Usually there's not too much of an issue playing between editions, but with 5th, there is one. Or well, more of one. Slight changes in how difficulty, damage, stats, and other things are handled make it harder to cross over with older games.
Immune enthusiast. Age 5? I'm assuming that's just the difference. This is something I would definitely get if I played this game before. Also, wow, that is very red eyelids. Didn't know you could actually do that without actual paint.
This means you have several essential choices. Option 1. At time of writing, only Vampire the Masquerade and Hunter the Reckoning have 5th edition variants.
Pokes.
Thus far, compared to earlier games, 5th edition games focus on smaller stakes and slower XP growth with weaker characters.
Oh.
This is done in service of creating a more intimate feel for the players. And it works! It focuses on making you feel less like a character in the world of darkness and more like a person.
Now that's actually very much not what I was expecting. Normally when I hear, they got it updated, it's usually the idea of, don't worry, you get faster, stronger, and here's all the crazy shit, and we can throw it at you faster. And that's what I usually expect, because it's to draw you in, to get you into the crazy stuff, so you want to buy more, do more, have more, yeah, more, ah! Maybe that's just a take I get because of the general culture of everything, literally almost everything I think of does that. It's just faster, more in your face, more. So the idea that they would slow it down is respectable, but not what I was expecting. In fact, it's almost counterintuitive to give you that intimate vibe of a game, which does make sense though, because like he said, the gaming philosophy is that this is a much slower game that you are going to have to be very roleplay heavy in. So they're playing more into that aspect, which is actually interesting that they're really focusing on what their core belief was. Huh.
In my humble opinion, it's quite successful at that. Early trends involve bigger factions being weaker and more flawed, and more of the onus is on the younger generations to fight for their place in the world.
Interesting art.
I have overall less to say about 5th edition, largely because it's pretty self-explanatory. Pick it up, play it, and enjoy. Just know that everything else has yet to fully arrive. It's a strong edition, and I'm sure the best is yet to come. It's also worth noting, if you watch the very excellent LA by Night and New York by Night live plays, this is the version of the game they're playing.
Oh.
There are new resources being pumped out for 5th with increasing regularity.
I think I've even seen those a few times come up.
And it's not going to remain the edition without all the other goodies forever. I'm just giving it slightly less focus, just because there's fewer caveats here than other places. But it's genuinely worth your time. If you want to run a vampire or a hunter game, this is definitely the place to look. Option 2, 20th Anniversary Editions. Before 5th edition, the edition of the land was WoD 20th Anniversary. These were released, get this, in celebration of WoD's 20th anniversary.
Everything about this pains me, and I refuse to explain why.
They were essentially released for veteran players of the day, and as a result, they can be kinda rocky to learn at times. The idea being, you should already have a firm grasp of the concepts within.
Wait, what is that saying up there? I wasn't really sure what it said. Blessed. Oh, that's the guy they keep referring to all the time, even. Listen to me. Blessed my child. Oh, they're talking, the old guy talking to Blessed, I guess is the new gamer. You must read the entirety of the Mage Core parents looting rulebook if you want to be a real gamer. I will disown. I will disown you. I must have missed a word there. Huh. Also, they didn't have the name Blessed there. I would not have recognized that as a person.
The lore has a slight tendency of being either too...
I'm sorry. What is that? Is that a... It's probably the worm, but it's like a dragon with clockwork parts, or it's in a clockwork machine, or... And then there's like a little kid doll. What? I don't even... The artwork for this game is very unique. I will give it that 100 times over.
Tendency of being either too reverential to old material or just plain sparse, But it's the edition I started with, and I turned out alright, so I still highly recommend them.
No comment.
Most games enjoyed a pretty cool 20th anniversary release, and in my opinion, it's still the edition to run if you want crossover shenanigans.
Oh.
Compared to 5th edition, you'll likely be able to roll out with a comparatively more powerful character, but...
Okay, that's funny. The old one who's more powerful, and then the new guy who's, honestly, he held his own pretty well.
There's also a lot more jank. Balance isn't really at the heart of WoD, given it's just, not that kind of game, but it's a lot easier to break than 5th edition for damn sure. For better and for worse. It's not enough
they actually
that I'd
balance it
recommend
more.
them to a newbie, but it is enough to warn about. So consider yourself warned. I just warned you. Despite these caveats, though, outside of the occasional weirdly worded subsystem, it's not like 20th anniversary is a major downgrade. In fact, I know plenty of people who still prefer playing this edition to the newer ones, and I can't really blame them. Even
Okay, seriously, is that one of the guys who just does this show and I just don't know him? Because now that I think about it, I don't know what anyone actually looks like. Granted, it would be creepy if I did, because people on the internet without showing their face. If you know their face, it's kind of weird. But more just, yeah, you could definitely tell someone's like, oh yeah, let's play this version, and everyone else is going, peasant, just around him.
Even for games with 5th editions, if you wanted to run a vampire game where you're all elders and not snot-nosed neonates, fuck it, 20th ain't a bad choice. These editions are hideous, lumbering monsters. You'll notice I'm insulting them a lot. That's because I love them all. I don't own just one 700-page Mage 20th Core rulebook. I own two, and one has a weird stain, and I don't know where it came from. 20th is also so accommodating that you can easily just take older supplements and quickly adapt or even straight up use their adventures, powers, merits, and flaws in your own game. Even if the content...
Actually, that is a very big upside. If the modules they have are very much plug and play for anything, and he just said you could put it into your own game, that's kind of impressive they could design a multi-system publication like that. I mean, he did say it was for the veteran players, so it's probably people who knew what they were doing and they knew that when they made it. Sure, yeah, I guess that actually makes a lot of sense, and I'm actually very impressed. Just, I'm comparing to D&D where every module is its own thing, and you don't play them back to back, unless you know exactly what you're doing in advance and nobody does anything homebrew. I mean, of course, I'm comparing to D&D because that's what I probably know the most and what most people probably know the most. This game does seem like it's better designed just from how he's describing it, though.
Content you're looking for is ancient. You can probably dig through any old WoD book and find something that can fit in your game with a few tweaks.
Huh.
My friend Odoroshi once ran the prehistoric crossover module Midnight Circus for our home group of 20th anniversary characters to great success, even though it was originally printed 2 months after my birth.
I have no idea how old he is, but I'm assuming older than 20, so that's a significantly aged one. Granted, it's only been around since the 80s. You know, it really says something when your average fandom is Doctor Who that you think that's the average age of most fandoms. Probably not a good way to look at it because it's very wrong.
Sure, a lot of the content aged poorly. A lot of the content aged poorly. The
underlying
concept.
Enough said, I kind of get what he means. I'm not going to say more.
And many of the characters and situations were fun and easy to translate to 20th parlance. The parts that didn't, well, our storyteller just filled in the gaps with her own original content. Got rid of the stuff she didn't like. It's not just modules either. Area splats, faction guides, hell, even some main game line.
Wait, a splat? Why is it called a Oh, it's probably just jumping you into a small little thing and not actually full... Why is it called a splat? That almost seems like it's derogatory. It probably was, and they just ran with it. If anyone actually knows, I'm very curious.
It's languished in earlier editions, but it's all still accessible thanks to how adaptable the older storyteller system is. I mean, think about it. Before the D&D 5th edition reprint, could you imagine running classic Tube of Horrors in the modern system? Well, you could with...
Is that a guy just pulling up a random... Is that Tube of Horrors with gun? You know what? No, I'm not even going to... I would probably trigger someone... Vic, if I went back to that, because he would have nightmares about it, going to the Tomb of Horrors with changes. Like, just a couple turns different than he's expecting. He memorized the canon one.
Well, you could with WoD. I mean, not Tomb of Horrors, but, you know, Evil Circus Hell and this crab thing. Anyway, the TLDR is this. If you want to play Werewolf, Mage, Changeling, or Wraith, or if you have a style of play that clashes with 5th's design philosophy, 20th is the spice you're looking for. Have fun. Option 3.
So he mentioned the big ones, but what about things like Demon, which I've heard people enjoy? I know very little about it, though.
And Madness. Sadly, not all games got a 20th anniversary release. Some games have languished in their sordid states.
I'm assuming Demon's one of them.
With barely an errata in sight. They are few, but they are infamous. And some people really, really like them.
Mummy.
Essentially, if you're looking to get a rousing game of Demon the Fallen or Mummy the Resurrection, you're going to be looking at old rules. Fortunately,
I'm sorry. Just the fact that they had TM show up and someone just went in the background. Trademark. Oh, I hit the mic. Shouldn't do that. Still, it's such a stupid thing, but I just love that they did the ominous trademark. Oh, God. I'm assuming these rules were more... Actually, considering it sounds like they've depowered the setting, they might actually be more powerful because of that. Huh.
These are going to be relatively self-contained and explicable within the language of their own text. Why game lines be like that? I cannot advise much in this juncture, for I have rarely afforded myself such terror. I've used Demon the Fallen rules for NPCs in certain games, and it was universally a harrowing experience.
Oh?
It was like being submerged in the dim waters of the river Styx and losing all that I am. That being said, the games have their cult followings for a reason. Be brave, play them, and have fun. But know that if it's your first time, it's probably a bad idea to start here. It won't be too challenging once you have a game under your belt, though. Option 4.
I wish we warned
Chronicles
what
of
they were.
Darkness. Oh boy. This one is... It's gonna take a hot second. Here's some history. Sometime during the run of WoD, the developers decided that enough had been done on the meta plots to warrant a global update. Modules were released for end-time scenarios for all game lines. You got to pick your favorite ending, and the idea was that they'd say goodbye to the setting forever. In its place came the...
I'm assuming because he started talking about 5th edition, how everything hasn't been updated to it yet, this entire thing about Chronicles wasn't carried on. Again, I don't know much. I thought this was what they happened and nothing was going to be done after that, but actually it's kind of cool finding out I was missing some information. Neat.
The new World of Darkness, now known as the Chronicles of Darkness. This is a completely different, confusing continuity that is extremely different from the old World of Darkness. In Chronicles of Darkness, you do not play Vampire the Masquerade.
What?
You play Vampire the Requiem. You do not play Changeling the Dreaming. You play Changeling the Lost. Confused yet? So am I. This isn't quite WoD. For Warhammer fans, think of WoD as fantasy and Chronicles as Age of Sigmar. For one...
Oh, it'd be like that. Fantasy had a great cult following that never needed to do anything because they had already mastered everything and nothing ever changed. And then Age of Sigmar came in and fucked up a lot of shit up over and over until they actually had some really cool shit. And honestly, I think some of their models now are freaking amazing. Like, you just buy them because they look good, and then you may or may not play with them. I'm not going to show the Marathi sculpture I actually painted in my back, and I do consider it a sculpture because goddamn, that thing was impossible. Not bringing it out anywhere, can't play with it because I know I will snap it in half if I try, but
The rules and systems have been streamlined and optimized in a way that even 5th edition took notes from.
Oh.
For 2, the world and game lines are similar but very distinct. With
I heard they were dumbed
standouts.
down.
In particular, Hunter the Vigil is a very cool take on the Hunter experience. Whereas the older version of The Reckoning focused on supernaturally augmented imbued, Vigil focused on normal hunters, introduced numerous cool and creative hunter compacts, as well as the concept of becoming a slasher, a fucked up kind of hunter that went from being a slayer of the supernatural to a metaphysically augmented serial killer. H5 no longer focuses on the...
I'll be honest, I'm not really sure about how everything interacts with it, but the idea that you go from smaller plots here to bigger plots here, even if 5th edition is apparently smaller as well. It's weird how they're also on 5th edition, but I almost kind of wish there was a way to integrate the various concepts in. So you get the smaller aspect here, and then the less fucked up slasher murder hobo on the top side. It's probably something that someone's already talked about, though.
Imbued. And I think that's because Hunter the Vigil just kicked so much ass.
Oh.
Changeling the Lost also gets its fair share of accolades. Changeling the Dreaming is well known to be somewhat inscrutable, difficult to understand, and a massive glowing orb of madness floating silently in the classic WoD catalog. Changeling the Lost simplifies the story a bit. Instead of playing as the Fae, you play as someone cursed by the Fae, which grants a very distinct play experience. It also makes the games radically different from each other, to the point where I'd almost warrant to say the Lost is just its own weird little thing. Chronicles is still getting updates, such as an actually living mummy game and several unique permutations like Deviant, Promethean, and Geist.
Oh, so they're actually continuing both of them. I was actually not expecting that, and frankly, I'm kind of wondering if you would just take the setting from Old World with some of the new variations, if they just happen to work better. I mean, if they're plug and play, it might actually work that way. Just, you know, setting might be a little off. Granted, if you're only using plot elements, you could probably make it work.
If it tickles your fancy, it's not a bad idea to check out. But you should know that if you're looking for World of Darkness books, Chronicles is something different, so be aware. Now, all of these different ways to play may sound intimidating, but don't worry, there's even more.
What?
WoD Dark Ages, WoD Wild West, WoD of the Victorian Age, WoD's incredibly vibrant and legendary LARP scene. There's a lot.
Well, he did say this was very much an RPG community. Apparently, yeah, people would love to do the vampire roleplay in person. I'm not even surprised. Just a little disappointed in humanity.
But fortunately, it's not all half as intimidating when you
kind of want the books, though,
basic
just to have
mechanics of
them.
World of Darkness are all incredibly simple. Better still,
what?
for all their sub-variants and additions and blah 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 blah, outside of the unique gimmicks for each supernatural subtype, the core...
Okay, just on a sheer aesthetic level, this book looks amazing. This right here is convincing me to just get it. It looks like a well-produced hardcover book that has a lot of information in it, and I kind of want it. I'm not sure if I'd ever play it, but I just kind of want this to have it. Maybe read it on sometime.
Very little between the games. That's because every mainline book you aren't playing can serve an additional purpose as a bestiary.
Oh.
Your non-furry friends deny you the opportunity to run the werewolf game of your dreams? That's fine. Throw a mid-level Get a Fenris into their condominium and watch the fireworks. The sole exception, of course, is 5th, but even then it can be done. It's different, but not that radically different.
Now this is an upgrade. Experience more with a $300 travel credit from Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Part 5!
You know what? I wasn't planning to go this far, but I don't care because I have time finally to do this. I'm going to indulge. We're finishing this right now.
Mechanics!
Ooh,
So
I'm
how
actually curious
simple
about
is
this.
it? Simpler than D&D, to be honest.
Really?
The core mechanic of WoD is this. All editions utilize the simple D10-based dice pool system. D10s look like this, and character sheets look like this. At character creation, you...
That's actually not a very big one. Weapons, equipment, aspirations, conditions. Ooh. Aspirations basically pretty straightforward. Conditions, that has integrity, willpower, and health. Oh. That one, I really want to see how that interacts. Size, speed, defense, armor. Wait, defense and armor are different? Sorry, from someone who likes trying to break systems as something that's just fun and then role plays regardless of the outcome. This is a giant pile of candy stuck in front of me. He's like, hey, can you imagine all the ways this could break? No, because you know nothing about this yet, but you might, and you can imagine even more about the not imagined things, which is weird because it shouldn't actually work that way, but it does. Oh, you can tell I'm really hyped up on caffeine right now because this is cool.
You decide which skills and attributes your character has by filling in the dots with the game's allotted budget.
Oh.
Dots represent how good you are at something. 1 dot is below average, 2 is average, 3 means you can make a career out of it, 4 means you can make a great career out of it, and 5 means that you're one of the best in the world.
Ooh.
Someone with strength 5, for instance, is one of the strongest people on the planet. Someone with medicine 5 might be an internationally acclaimed neurosurgeon, whereas a med student might have medicine 1 and a nurse medicine 2. So, putting that into practice. This character has 3 dots of firearms and 3 dots of dexterity. They're a good shot, and they're fast to boot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a blood-sucking freak of nature is running right at them. They need to put those skills to good use.
PMC
They need to
for
roll
life.
to shoot that bastard into the Stone Age. When making a roll, you take a relevant
Shotguns,
attribute
man.
of the skill you're using, in this case, dex and firearms, and count their combined dots.
Oh, do you
Then
add
you
them?
just roll that many dice, and boom. You'll have a target number, usually...
Oh, that's... Okay, I absolutely love this. So you're not actually just trying to break one individual stat. You want to be well-rounded sometimes, so you know what kind of areas you focus on. So when you do them, you have multiple things that can combine. So actually having a reduction of a skill to a level that's good but not ungodly means that you can combine it easier with more stats you can put somewhere else that you know that you'll be used in conjunction. Are there any ways to include 3 stats instead of 2 through plot reasons? Dude, I don't know, but I want to find out.
usually 6s, and everything above that on the dice are successes. Tally your successes, and
So
that's
top
the
half
result
wins.
of your roll. In this roll, we got 3 dice hitting our target number, so we've got 3 successes. A
Yeah.
direct hit. With rare exceptions, this is essentially how every action in the game is performed.
Like Kane.
Want to stab a guy? Dexterity plus melee. Want to not shit yourself on a first date? Charisma plus expression.
Dear, if you're watching, I'm saying nothing, and I promise I'm not editing anything out.
Easy peasy. The advantages of this system are its ease of use and flexibility. Example.
Just throwing it in there, that's not always a entirely possible date killer.
Firearms' typical function is to point guns in people's directions and pull the trigger. But if you wanted to field strip a gun, it's also what you'd use.
Oh.
You could also use it in an investigative sense. Perception plus firearms to determine what kind of gun scooped some poor victim's brains out.
Oh! Oh, that's so cool! I shouldn't be surprised considering it's SpeakerD. He would definitely... It's not as weird as Lorne. Sorry, the artist formerly known as Lorne in one of their maybe possible games that they can't do anymore that has been finished, who may or may not want to use psychic mastery for everything. But here you can actually, if you can come up with a reason, you can actually use skills that would normally be only combat-based in non-combat settings. Sorry, this is amazing. Oh, creativity would play a huge part in this, wouldn't it? This right here is probably the part that convinced me to buy it. Not just to have it, which I probably already was convinced, but to actually play it, because this, I like the idea of how you could break the system, what kind of interesting little details about your character you could line up in such a way. Because the role-playing aspect would give reason to the game power aspect. Sorry, when power gaming and RPG actually fit together, this is cool.
Hell, if the storyteller is feeling especially kind, you could probably use it in a social encounter too. Impress your fellow gun freaks by speaking enthusiastically of your waifu with charisma firearms.
So, basically America. Got it.
Alternatively, if you're about as intimidating as a baby capybara, as a last-second desperation ploy, perhaps you can scare off an encroaching foe with a sick display of gunmanship. Manipulation plus firearms.
To be fair, if I saw a capybara spitting a gun, I would be terrified too.
Roll high, or else you might catch a hollow point in the skull for your troubles.
How long did it take to do that?
Are these combos the
he
only
did.
combos you can use for such things? Absolutely not. Sometimes actions can actually be accomplished through multiple combinations of skills and attributes. For instance, a storyteller might allow you to field strip a firearm with the firearms, technology, or craft skills, but not all roles are equal. Storyteller may require more successes for roles they think are a stretch.
I'm sorry, what? I want to use my cloud orb to defuse the bomb. It's even funnier if they succeeded. Nope.
I typically wouldn't disallow a Dr. PC to synthesize a drug using medicine, but I might make it easier if they used science, chemistry, or botany instead.
Oh.
Personally, I love letting my players get creative with skill use. It's the same reason why I encourage most PCs to have a few useless skills. Sure, your 2 dots in law might seem useless at first, but when the party face fails to convince that cop that you definitely 100% know nothing about the string of disappearances you've been causing, your Dark Horse law skill could be the difference between getting him to come back with a warrant and a prison arc.
I'm going to be completely honest. Everything he just said. Yeah, nope. I need to find a way to convince my D&D group to do a one-shot of this at least. Granted, that was imply convincing my D&D group to find time where we can all meet up, because God knows that hasn't happened in months. Scheduling! Yeah. This is so cool!
That's sort of the soul of what makes Wad Wad, you know? It's got an incredibly easy to get into dice system that doesn't overly concern itself with mechanics bloat. It's not completely rules light, like Powered by the Apocalypse, but it's less hindered by exacting systems and, like, I don't know. Item carry weight. What can you carry? I don't know. What the storyteller thinks you can carry.
Huh.
If it beggars belief, make a check. Okay, you'll know how carrying all that weight affects you. A good, adaptable storyteller and a gaggle of creative miscreants can have a
I'm sorry, in their group, Carl the Deranged would be the storyteller? I was expecting he would be the drugged-out barbarian who just happened to go Reaver in D&D, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, and if you don't, I can't explain that on YouTube. That would be one hell of a game.
Hell of a time telling their story using this system. And really, what more can you ask for?
Part
6.
6.
Whoa.
End.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's more. A lot more.
I would like to know
Too
more.
much to willingly shove into
Do
one
it!
video.
Please!
I could clobber you with tales of the spirited LARP scene, talk about all the incredibly poorly aged WAD supplements, like the Mafia book. Oh my god, Alpha loves the Mafia book.
What is
Let's
that?
Get it away. Being honest, each WAD game line would take its own video to get into the gritty of it.
Do it! Please! I'm actually freaking curious, man. You know, honestly, he's explaining this in a really cool way. The best thing I can think of is kind of like Tex when he just started out and was just going over the mechs in Tex Talks Battletech. I want SpeakerD to do this. I want to see more of this. Go into the details, please. I freaking want to know, man. If nothing else, it would be a product recommendation. And if anything more, it's something I'm very much going to look into because I just want to know about all these crazy systems, especially the ones that are old and untouched. This is so freaking cool.
The unique mechanics, themes, and other nuances. So, fuck it. If you want more videos breaking down individual WAD game lines, let us know in the comments.
1 second, please. Yeah, I commented. I regret nothing. And if you can as well, I have a link to the video below. Hit it up and go here and tell him to do more because that's be freaking cool, man. Sorry, I like these breakdowns of systems. It's something I watch on my own time for other videos and other systems, like the entirety of multiple channels about breaking down D&D lore and aspects is what I just do on my own free time. So having them do this for World of Darkness is literally right up my alley. I know there are other people who do it, including Mr. Welch, I think. Or is it just Mr. Welch? I need to go double check that. It'll be fun either way. So just, if you can, let him know that this is freaking awesome.
But for now, to avoid a deadly bloated mass, we'll wind down here. So let's review. Step 0, play Bloodlines. Step 1, get a good group. Step 2, pick your game and edition.
Whoa.
Step 3, pick a day, time, and place, and...
Yeah, step 3 is the bitch part.
Step 4, start running. Do all these things, and the
Get
world of
started
darkness should
contribution.
open up to you. I love WAD. It's the most fun I've ever had rolling dice. I hope with this video and Hunter the Parenting, we've helped some folks get into this incredible game and community. And if we haven't...
Failure. Perhaps next time.
You have watched an Ogre Popenang video essay.
Hey, there was a curl at the range at the end.
That broomstick, you fuck! Oh, you are going to have to go to jail for this, you fuck!
Oh my god, did they really just do this entire bit in the Oblivion style? Because even have the name down there in the text, and oh god, this is the Oblivion style! You pick something up and suddenly the jail guard's there! Or anyone, sorry, I'm having a massive nostalgia blast just seeing this. This is cool.
Oh, you can pay with gold! What is it?
Go to jail.
Gold,
Resist
eh?
arrest.
Well then, it's off to jail with you!
Oh my god. Okay, real talk. Between the freaking Oblivion reference that they did with Carl at the end, and the Emperor's voice at the end going, fail. This is just a massive nostalgia trip, and I love every second of this. Honestly, though, my biggest thing is, I want this to become the side series, like, between Hunter and breaking down more of the World of Darkness and all the various splats or other aspects and updates and modules that come out. Also, why the hell are they called splats? That sounds like the dumbest name ever. Isn't it like a thing that just came out in a printing process where they just threw a bunch of color on it? And that was the sound initially made? You know what, actually, considering some of the dumb naming procedures, I would not be surprised if someone tells me that's actually how it came up. I can't even tell myself it's not. It might actually be the case. It'd be weird. It would be stupid. I could believe it, though. Because I usually believe weird and stupid things, and I hate when they're true. But more importantly, go to the original video and let him know that there is an audience for more of this. I've done that. I've put the comment in there, and it's freaking cool, man. This is geek fuel for me. This is absolute sugary geek fuel, and I love every second of this. So, for everyone here, thanks. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know when more of this comes out, because I'm really hoping more of this comes out. And let me know right away so I can actually find out, because yes! Have I mentioned the geek fuel stuff? Yeah. So either way, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it comes out soon, and yeah, let me know. I'll see you then. Adios.